What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilk, and today we're going to be talking Danmachi Season 4, Episode 7. Now, I won't say this is like the pinnacle episode or anything like that. This really is more of a, like a prelude episode, but we did get some really interesting stuff. So the episode opens up with another one of Cassandra's premonitions, and this time it's pretty ominous. Like everybody dead. Like everybody dead there by the waterside in level 27. And Bell is fighting what it looks like he's fighting Ryu, but based on what was said there, I'm going to gather something else is happening. So, the long and the short, once we get into the episode, more or less what happens is you get the dead body that we got at the last episode. Cassandra and Daphne, as we find out later on the episode, have already had their, I guess, time with the corpse to do their investigation. And one dude is just like straight up like, Ryu did this. It is the Gale Wind. I saw her do it. And anybody who plays Among Us already knows that this dude sounds sus. This dude sounds mega sus. In fact, what's really funny and interesting about this is later on in the episode, we get a little bit more on Ryu's actual background. Now, for those of you that don't know the whole story about Evilus and all that, I'm not going to get into it in this video. Please, those of you that read the light novel, don't spoil anything. And even those of you that played the game, don't spoil anything, because that apparently is coming. We're going to be actually getting that whole story in light novel format, which is absolutely awesome. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the Danmachi Memoria Freeze mobile game, I talk about like every episode. I love the game so much. But that was our anniversary, that was third anniversary, 2 years ago. So we got a lot of backstory that some people just aren't privy to at this point. So got a little bit of a heads up there, and I'm going to try to maintain a little bit of... what's the word I'm looking for? Basically anonymity on the whole idea, just so we don't drop any spoilers or anything like that. But the long and the short of it, he seems sus. Ryu was chasing after another werewolf in Kanasis. We saw that towards the middle of the episode. So there's something sus about this guy. Now, different colored hair, different all that. I'm not sure if it's the same dude or they're associated. But do you remember Ryu colors her hair? So, like, hair dye is a thing in Arario. So it's not out of the question for that to be the same guy or somebody related. So that is a complete possibility. Now, simply put, as far as all that is concerned, as far as, like, everything we've seen up to this point is concerned, it seems right now like Ryu killed this guy. And we actually saw the end of the last episode, she was interrogating him. They even talk about his interrogation wounds, like severed the tendons, made sure he couldn't walk, and all this stuff. I mean, and then was later on put down. Now, I would guesstimate, based on what they're saying there, that probably Ryu didn't do the actual killing. Though, that interrogation method isn't exactly... well, it's not fatal, but it definitely will make him wish it was. So, this whole situation, Ryu still is kind of looking, he's a little bit sus on that one. But, so we've got this whole situation where the town now knows about her bounty, and even Lily mentions, she's like, yeah, they're forming a search party, but absolutely no one in the search party really seems to care about Ryu. They only seem to care about the bounty, and that's probably pretty true. Like, adventurers, they're all the same. And she ain't wrong. She ain't wrong at all. So they form their search party and they head out and they head into the dungeon. And the whole time Cassandra's losing her mind. She's trying to convince everyone to stay. They won't stay. She's trying to convince everyone this is a bad idea. And then they're like, fine, you can stay behind. Daphne will stay with you. Daphne, offers to stay with her. And she's like, nah, I gotta go. Like, obviously it's all internal because she can't really say it. But she's like, I gotta go. I gotta find a way to circumvent this inevitable disaster. Not that she has any idea what she's up against, but yeah, it's not looking good for anybody here at this particular juncture. But they all go in the dungeon, and a few things happen. We get the stampede of the mastodons or whatever they're I forget what they're actually called. There's some fighting. But by and large, we just kind of get to the very end of the episode, and a lot of this is just like building up to the big thing. You're basically getting a lot of the background, and the ground starts shaking, and they go out to the waterfall, the big cascade we saw at the beginning of this season, and they're like down there on level 27, something is happening. Now they've alluded a lot to this. Lily swears that the basically dungeon boss isn't supposed to respawn for another 2 weeks. But based on the premonitions we've had and all that, I think we can all pretty much surmise that that's probably a miscalculation, or the dungeon is ramping up production because the dungeon is sentient. So who knows? Like, put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah, there's a number of reasons for it, and I'm sure we're going to get to that here soon. So this is going to be a season full of a lot of crazy lore. You guys those of you that don't have read the light novels, those of you that haven't played the game and all that, are in for a knowledge feast here soon, I'm going to surmise. So that's pretty much it. There's not a huge amount to talk about aside from that, because a lot of it was just literally like going from point A, and they're on their way to point B. They're not quite there. They're en route. So those of you that thought it was going to be a pretty quick to and from, I promise you it is absolutely not. But we are going to get some fun stuff with Ryu here really soon. I'm guessing, I'm hoping. I think that's where this is going. So, unfortunately, this is way ahead of where I am in the light novels at the moment. It's just really hard for me to find time to do all the YouTube stuff and to read the light novels. It's just, I haven't had the time, but I'm going to make the time here soon, and we're going to start talking about that. So spoiler videos will be coming really soon. However, for now, let me know what you guys thought of the episode. Now, as far as numerical values go, I'd give this, it's like a 7 in my mind. It's not groundbreaking, but it is on the way to a thing. The problem I've got is, once again, and it's just a serial issue with JC Staff. They kind of go back to this whole, like, early 2090s, like, era of anime where they're just like, if we shake stills, it's the same as animation. And I've talked about it before. That just bugs me just bugs the hell out of me. I do not like that. I really wish that they would commit to it and then just have the animation. I know that this has been in production long enough, there's really no excuse for them not to. I know that drags out production. I know that's more expensive. But I'm sorry, for a franchise like this, you actually should be showing it a little bit more respect. But that's JC Staff. We kind of expect that at this point. And once again, this wasn't a huge, like, dramatic episode. This is literally like a point A to point B. So I'd say a solid 7, and I think that's a fair assessment. If you really want to plot this, like, 5 is average. This is, like, well above average. Not perfect, not average. Just like a solid, middle of the road. We'll give it a 7.5 for that sake. 7.5. Not quite 8, but still exceptionally good. And it's taking us down to something that's even better. So there you go, guys. That's my rating. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Like, share, comment, all that good stuff. We'll be back with Danmachi episode 8 next week.